Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today. And to be honest with you guys, I have not filmed a Bible review video in about a year. I know I just released a whole bunch of review videos, but those are kind of old backlogs that I had, thankfully kind of stored up. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, so if you'll bear with me, I'm just trying to make heads or tails of things. But I figured I would treat you guys to something interesting, I guess, for a kind of a back back at it review for you. So this is the Bible that I have, and for those of you who are very kind of astute in your observation skills, you will notice that the leather has a very telltale pattern to it. And this leather is actually sealskin. This is probably one of the nicest versions of an RSV Bible that I've seen. And I know that I've done quite a few editions of the RSV, but this is really kind of a culmination of all the kind of the best aspects of the RSV Bibles that Thomas Nelson produced back in the day. So again, this is an RSV Bible produced by Thomas Nelson. We'll go ahead and get into it. I guess I'm trying to remember how these even go. I want to make sure that I'm not leaving out any pertinent information, so I'm kind of checking my cheat sheet that I have up above as I talk here, just to make sure I don't miss anything. But let's go ahead and just look at it. I guess we'll go from there. So right at the gate, you can see that, again, that wonderful grain, that sealskin grain. And there's two different types of sealskin. I think I only have this type. There's another type that comes from, it's called pin seal, and pin seal is basically baby seals, and that's a much finer, kind of smoother grain, and it's very soft. This is definitely very soft, very flexible grain, but you can notice it's got a very kind of tactile look and feel to it. It's a very, very defined grain, very kind of heavy duty, very textured grain, and frankly, I love it. I really like the way this grain presents. I think it's a beautiful cover option. Unfortunately, you guys are probably familiar with how they harvested seals back in the days. So, it was discontinued. They no longer use sealskin for the production of Bible leathers, kind of unfortunately. Also, because of that fact, Bibles that are sealskin Bibles tend to command a pretty hefty price because it's something you can't get anymore. I think they've been outlawed since the mid 70s or something like that. So it's been quite a while since sealskin Bibles have been produced. So, if you find one, awesome, but you're probably going to pay quite a bit on eBay. If you happen to find one and not pay quite a bit on eBay, you consider yourself lucky. So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, the grain, wonderful grain. We'll see there. You can see a very fine kind of perimeter line there on the edge. And then it is embossed. I'll annotate what it is. I have to remind myself what it is, if it's debossed or embossed. I think it's debossed. But we have Holy Bible debossed there into the cover, and it's that kind of traditional style where it's not really centered. It's kind of up and to the left. I'm assuming because they would use the same kind of stamping machine, maybe for all different size Bibles. So as it scaled down, you still had kind of Holy Bible kind of in the realm of being centered, although not so much here. I don't know, maybe that was just the style back then. You can also see that it does have somebody's name there. It looks like Vandor Littlejohn, I'm assuming. Wherever you are, Vandor Littlejohn, thank you for your contribution to the channel. As we move on from the outside, you have the spine here, and it says Holy Bible, Revised Standard Version, and then Nelson, because this is a Thomas Nelson produced Bible. And it does have some spine ribs. They're not really raised. They're just kind of pressed in indications there, and they're kind of burnished a little bit, so they're a little shiny, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. On the back, we have the continuation of that wonderful grain. Man, look at this. You cannot tell me that there's any better grain than this. That's an absolutely stunning and beautiful grain. I love sealskin, kind of the older sealskin like this. Older in the sense of the seals were older when they were harvested. That's what I mean, not older in the sense of classic. But yeah, look at all these other exterior details. We have 2 red ribbons, and they're kind of diminutive. They look like single-sided ribbons. This might be the only kind of cheap material that was used in this Bible. Everything else is really top quality. So I'm not sure what the deal was with ribbons, but for whatever reason, that's what Thomas Nelson decided to source. So it is what it is. The head and tail bands are kind of a yellow and red color there. You can see this wonderful gold gilt. It has a very nice luster to it. And then for those who have sharp eyes, you'll be able to tell that it is a red under gold art gilt. So you can see it there. And you can also see, look how flexible this is. I mean, I've done other RSVs from this era, and they're usually genuine leather, and they're definitely not this flexible. They're flexible in their own right, but they're definitely not like this. This is almost like a modern day production kind of flexibility to the Bible. But you can see that wonderful, again, red under gold art gilt. It's beautifully done. Go ahead and get into it. Now, this Bible, bear with me, guys. I know this is kind of a high-end Bible. Unfortunately, the person that had this Bible really used it. I shouldn't say unfortunately, that's fortunately, but they marked it up fairly thoroughly. So there's going to be quite a bit of markings and those sorts of things throughout it. So just giving you guys a heads up. On the inside here, you can see that it is lined and it is edge lined. You can see maybe the kind of the tab there as it goes under the first sheet there. I'll show you the corner work. And this is actually a leather-lined Bible. And you can see there how he must have had, the previous owner must have had something stuck there. And they tore it off, and it kind of took that last page with it, unfortunately. It also did some damage there to the liner. You can see there that it is marked genuine sealskin, and it does say leather lined. So this material on the inside here is leather. I'm not sure what type of leather it is. It is a very soft leather, so maybe a lambskin, but it also is a very thin leather to keep everything nice and flexible. I mean, you can see that leather cover just folding up nicely. But very nice, either way. Very well done, and definitely like the nicest version of this edition that I've ever seen. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Have somebody's name there, Peggy Weaver. Thank you, Peggy. Maybe if maybe Peggy was the second owner, I'm assuming. Thank you both for your contribution to the channel there. And we'll keep going. There's just a few blank pages there. Kind of thicker pages, nothing fancy, not quite cardstock, but just thicker pages to give it some kind of, body to the Bible. Then we have our title page there, the Holy Bible containing the Old and New Testaments. And we can see it was produced in 1953 by Thomas Nelson and Sons. We'll flip a few pages through it. On the back, we have all the copyright information. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you guys hopefully can read that if you want to, if you're interested. It was manufactured in the United States of America. And we have our preface to the RSV. Now, it's interesting to see that the RSV has kind of made a comeback over the last few years. The Revised Standard Version, sorry, excuse me, there's like a little bit of something there, just scratching it off. The Revised Standard Version, it's interesting to see that that's kind of made a comeback recently, and that there are other options. So like, if you, I'm trying to think, well, I know Thomas Nelson actually just started producing the Sovereign series, and they have the RSV, so they kind of picked it up again. It's interesting. Maybe I should grab that and make a comparison. I might do that actually, so you guys can see the new Sovereign edition versus this sort of older style, and we can compare the two, right? Why not? But yeah, so we'll continue with the preface. And then we have the table of contents there with their page numbers for each book of the Bible. And this is the Protestant canon, so there's no additional books or anything like that. I think the RSV was used. Let me not speak. I'm not sure who it was used by, to be honest, and I don't want to overextend my knowledge. So, and then on the back side there are the abbreviations for the different books of the Bible. We have our Old Testament title page. And look, this is my absolute favorite layout. For anybody who remembers the past RSV reviews I've done, I love these drop caps. Thomas Nelson knocked it out of the park with these drop caps. They look spectacular. So we'll go ahead and take a look. We have the first book of Moses called Genesis. And there's that wonderful text. Look at that beautiful drop cap. Look at that eye. Oh, this is a spectacular printing of this edition. Let me turn a few pages in and we'll take a look. Actually, I might... Yeah, we'll settle here, and then we'll kind of flip through and try and catch a few of those drop caps, because I think the drop caps are only the beginning of each book. So we can see here by looking that it is, the kind of like, I guess, a standard layout for the RSV. It's a double column paragraph layout, and you can see a little bit of sort of like poetic formatting. We have the book and the chapter numbers on the top outer corners, and then we have that's really it. Double line numeral kind of drop caps there indicating the different chapters. And then this one is more so of a reader, not totally a reader, because there are some footnotes at the bottom. And I'll go ahead and show those to you guys, so you can take a look at some examples of them. And it kind of has a little bit of everything. It looks like there's some cross references there, along with some kind of translators' footnotes and that sort of thing. But yeah, just a wonderful layout. Let's kind of flip through. They also have the kind of the running headers up in the top inner margin here in the gutter. Oh, this is beautiful. Love this edition. Love this layout. Let's go to the beginning of Exodus, and we'll take a look right there. Maybe we can see a larger drop cap. Yeah, there we go. Nice T. Look at that beautiful T. Wonderful T. Beautifully detailed. I love that, and it's very multi-lined. I don't want to count, but it's quite a few lines that it comes down. It's a nice size. I mean, it gives some presence to the page. So some of the things about this edition, I'll go ahead and talk about it, I guess, as I flip through. Some of the things about this edition, if you guys can't tell already, it's got obviously that red under gold, but one of the things that is kind of a upgrade of this edition over the other RSVs that I've done reviews on is the paper, and this one is spectacular by comparison. It's definitely a much creamier color, has a kind of a yellow hue to it. It's definitely a much nicer quality paper. It's very smooth, kind of a soft feel to it. Which stands in stark contrast to the other editions. Some of the other editions of the RSV kind of got a little cheap when it came to their paper. This is definitely a very nice paper. Now it's not quite an India paper, but it's definitely a very high quality paper, just a very nice paper overall. Yeah, man, look at this. Look at that text. It's wonderful. Also, the thing that I noticed, kind of right off the gate, is that the text in this one is very dark and very consistent. In the other editions of the RSV that I have, especially when you start looking at the drop caps, you can really see some kind of modeling in the printing. And that just is kind of a natural byproduct of the printing process. If you're trying to run your prints off very quickly, you'll get to where the ink doesn't lay down as fully as it should, right, during the printing process. So the way you mitigate that is basically to slow down the printing process, but that costs money because time is money. So if you're printing off 100,000 of these, you have to kind of slow down the printing press to make sure that you're printing as nicely as you should. And so there's an added cost to that. So definitely the super dark type and the wonderful paper just adds to kind of all of the I don't know, provenance. I don't know what you want to call it. Just the niceness of this edition. Let's go ahead and turn to Psalms 119, and we'll take a look. Look at this, man! Look at that! Look how great that is. This would look awesome with some drop caps, but I'll take this layout. It's certainly super nice. So we'll go to Psalm 119. It doesn't appear that they're definitely not. It doesn't appear that the sort of the lines have any sort of poetic accommodations, I guess, poetic formatting. You'll notice that there's definitely plenty of little. Here's just part of a word on a line by itself. Here's one word on a line by itself. So they didn't really make any sort of effort to try and even that out and give it some modern poetic formatting, unfortunately. But it still looks very nice. Let's go ahead and zoom in really close to that paper, and you can see there is just a little bit of show through, not very much. I wouldn't say, I don't know, it's hard to tell on this page. No, I wouldn't say that it's line matched. You can maybe see it a little bit better here. You can see that on the reverse side of the page, there's some lines, and then it looks like there's some lines in between the lines. So I wouldn't say that it's line matched. It's definitely not. But certainly this paper makes up for it. It's not quite as awesome as India paper, but this certainly is no slouch of a paper. It's a very nice paper. It's very well done. Kudos to Thomas Nelson for picking premium materials. Even back in the day, they did an excellent job with this edition. Now this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to sell. I can't even tell you how much on the fence I am. I'm looking over all the Bibles that I still have to review and all the Bibles that I still even just have in my little man cave. And I'm not sure. Oh, look at that A. Oh, wonderful. Look at that A. Woohoo. Look at that. Looks beautiful. Yes, I'm not sure if I'm going to sell this. This is one of these editions where I know I'm probably never going to see this again. This edition ever again. Another example of this edition come up. So I'm hesitant to sell it. And again, this one is fairly marked up. So it kind of is what it is. But it's my favorite edition because I love those drop caps and the RSV. I think it's gorgeous. I love just the paper floors me. The printing quality is excellent. The fact that it's sealskin. So I don't know. This one might get backburnered for a little bit. If it doesn't pop up on eBay right away, as soon as this video posts, I don't know. It might pop up later. So just make sure that I think on eBay you can favorite a seller. So if they add stuff, you get notified. That might drive you nuts because I'm hoping to do some more videos, so you might get quite a lot of notifications. But maybe you just want to check in every once in a while. I always put my when I list something for sale, I always put it for 10 days, and then I just leave it for open bidding, and I just allow people to bid whatever they want. So that way, hopefully, my aim is not to make the most amount of money from it. My aim is just to give the most people a chance to purchase the Bible, hopefully, if they're interested in it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this New Testament title page. You can see there the New Covenant, commonly called the New Testament of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I love this kind of formal wording. It's wonderful. We'll flip the page there. You can see the table of contents for the New Testament. And then a little note in the abbreviations that they're found in the beginning. And then another New Testament title page. And then the Gospel according to Matthew. And again, that wonderful drop cap. Man, it's beautiful. And I'll show you some more footnotes down there. Excellent job, Thomas Nelson. It makes for a nice reader's edition. The only thing I don't like about this edition, and I think I mentioned it in my other reviews of other RSVs, it's just that the leading, which is the space between the lines, the leading is kind of tight on this edition. You can see it evidenced here in the two, kind of in the lines between Jehosh and Joram. Notice how there's just such a small amount of space between the two J's. And that just happens, and it makes it a little more difficult to read. Not a ton for me, but some people prefer it when there's more leading between the lines because it's just easier to kind of track the lines and not get things mixed up as you're reading. So, you can see here, it's a black letter text, so no red letter to speak of. But man, looks so good. Looks so nice. So we'll go ahead and flip to the end and see what there is. No sort of red letter to talk about. Oh, look at that. Let me show you this guy. Let me show this to you guys. Oh, looks so good. Look at the dark print. Oh, excellent. Excellent job. All right, let's get to the end. We'll wrap it up here. Wonderful, wonderful edition of the Bible. Now, was as typical for the RSVs, they really usually don't have much, if anything, in the back. And I think this might be the case with this one. I don't even think there's maps at the back of this one. As I fumble trying to get to Revelation 22. So there we go. There's the end of the Bible. Yep, and then all you have is a little copyright information there. I'll show it to you guys. If you want to pause and read, you're welcome to. And then just kind of those thicker end sheets yet again. Yeah, a few of them. 1, 2, 3. And then kind of the last sheet there. With a little note. And it looks like an item number of EEF 2880X. Interestingly, I love seeing this. Look at the price. $15 for this Bible. Which I would imagine in 1953, $15 was probably quite a penny, quite a pretty penny for a Bible. So, by today's standards, obviously, I would certainly pay $15 for this edition. But back then, that was a considerable amount, $15. So this would have been considered like an ultra premium Bible, as it should be, right? You have all the bells and whistles in this thing, and it's a beautiful edition. So let's go ahead and get measurements, and then we'll get back inside and I'll get you a measurement on fonts. But this comes in at just under 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches wide, and about 7 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, 7 and 5/8 inches tall. And it is a very trim edition, obviously, because there's no helps or anything like that on the back. Plus, the paper is a very nice thinner paper. So it comes in at just over an inch thick. So a very trim edition, nice hand-sized edition. Very compact, very portable. Love it. Love this. Love the RSV. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fonts, and I'll get you a measurement on those. And we'll start with the uppercase. We'll use the H here. And it appears to be maybe an 8.5 point font versus Times New Roman. And look at the N, or actually look at the M and makes there. And I think they did the same thing as before. The lowercase letters are a little bit bigger. It appears to be a 9-point font for the lowercase letters versus Times New Roman. So I always say that, there's more lowercase letters than uppercase letters. So I would put this at a 9-point font versus Times New Roman. So if you guys are interested, that's how it compares. Now give me a moment and let me dig up my other RSV, and then we will do a quick comparison. 1 second. So I'm back with a new RSV from Thomas Nelson. This is an excellent edition. This is their RSV, their Sovereign edition. Now, certainly, obviously, there's going to be a quite noticeable size difference here between the two. This is the genuine leather edition, and this is their new the original size. I forget. I got this Bible for Christmas, and I meant to start reading it. I haven't quite gotten to it yet, but I'm excited to to dig into this one. But either way, let's go ahead and take a look. We'll compare sizes. And then we'll get going from there. You can see that the older one is certainly much smaller, probably about an inch in dimension smaller, less tall, I guess. Almost as wide. Let me show that dimension right quick. Just about as wide, but certainly much more narrow by comparison. Goodness, this is the new one on the bottom. This is much thinner. The older edition with the sealskin cover there. And obviously you can compare the two grains, right? Here's a very fine kind of, I would imagine probably a pigskin leather, right? A genuine leather is all it's labeled as. And then that very nice sealskin leather. So let's go ahead and take a look and compare the papers, which is kind of the big thing. Right now, look, see, look. They're getting back with the drop caps. Love it. I like the drop caps. Granted, it's, a knockoff of another Bible, but either way, I like drop caps. Red drop caps, awesome. But you can certainly tell a difference in the paper. That's where the main one is. I hope that the camera picks it up because it's very obvious here in person. This is very much like a very cream colored paper. It's fairly yellowed, and this is just kind of Thomas Nelson's kind of run of the mill what do you call that? Like a budget paper that they use for these editions. Not that it's a horrible paper or anything like that. Let me try and balance it, balance everything. Not that it's a horrible paper or anything like that, but it's certainly nowhere near like premium papers, right? And I would definitely consider this older edition a premium paper. This newer one, not so much, but no slouch, right? Not a bad choice for paper if you're comparing the two, this is, again, $15 back in the day. It probably would have been $150 new by equivalent standards. And this is like a $30 or $40 Bible. I think at the time it was on sale when during Christmas time, so it wasn't fairly expensive at all. So yeah, I don't know what else to kind of show you guys to compare other than kind of a modern layout, a modern formatting, modern footnotes at the bottom here, not so modern footnotes or formatting, but definitely there's a clear distinction in paper between the two. And then again, just kind of a modern formatting. Interesting though, they still have single line, single word lines there in poetic sections. They still haven't kind of formatted that out of it. But there's a little comparison for you guys if you're interested. I will have to review this Bible at some point. I don't know when. I don't have any time. I don't even have time to read this poor thing. So when am I going to get time to review it? I don't know. But either way, Bible Buddies, this is an excellent edition of the RSV. Again, if you see it pop up, you see it pop up. If not, maybe I'll sell it later on down the road. I don't know. This is such a beautiful edition. Either way, Bible Buddies, I hope you enjoyed this. I am hoping to get back into reviewing Bibles more consistently. Oh goodness, but there's a lot to review, and I really got to get through them because I really got to get them moving. I know that there's going to be people out there who are going to enjoy these things much more than I have been over the last few years, because they've just been sitting in boxes for the most part, which is sad to say, because you always buy things with the best intention, and then you realize, yeah, that intention's not going to work out. So I want to make sure they're getting to people who will enjoy them. So if that's the case and I part ways with this one, then I pray that whoever gets it next will enjoy it. Bible Buddies, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, feel free to post them down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff to help me out. Otherwise, Bible Buddies, until next time, bye.